I'm Ronnie Hayes, and today we're going to look at the character of Jesse and what was his purpose in The Last of Us Part 2. Now, this isn't just for fans. As a writer myself, this is kind of like creative exercise, and if you're a writer or if you're interested in creating anything for a comic book, a video game, a screenplay, it kind of helps practice-wise to go in and see how they utilize the characters. And I don't mean just simply replace them with another character. That doesn't do it. How would the story change, or what couldn't they do if they took out this character? Now, I've done this on my own for Jesse and Abby and the Scars and the Wolves, and I came up with some interesting things that I'm not really seeing anyone discuss. And I have talked about this with some people in DMs and stuff when they hit me up, and there seems to be a decent amount of interest. So we'll kick this off. If there's some interest, maybe we'll do all the characters, but let's dive right into this. Now, a big thank you, though, because my comic Doomsday Kingdom on Indiegogo just hit 7K, which means everyone's getting the free premium upgrade, obviously, for the 5K reward, but also now you're getting the free gold foil bookmarks, which are friggin' banging, and we got freebies coming for 7,500, 8,000, 85, 9, and so on. So definitely check this out if you're interested. Doomsday Kingdom, links are down below. Now, back to Jesse. Now, I don't mean take Jesse out and no one's going to wake Ellie up, no one's going to give her exposition and walk her to the horse and yada, yada, yada. A lot of those little things don't actually change the main beats of the story. Ellie wakes up and she goes out and she does her little job and she goes on patrol with Dina and yada, yada, yada. So Jesse there doesn't necessarily matter. Dina getting sick and Ellie going on her own and then linking up with Jesse again, outside of story elements and gameplay elements, and not, let's say, filler or setting up the story elements, because we have to set up Jesse getting back and introductions and yada, yada, yada. Outside of those normal things, it doesn't change the story. There's one thing that Jesse does. There's one main purpose for this character that can't be simply just rewritten in an easy way, like Ellie just wakes up and goes and does her damn job. What is that one thing? This character here, essentially the character they used to replace Joel in the frickin' trailer, which now I can't even watch that cinematic without being just cringing so hard because it looks so pathetic. He's just leaning on the wall. Before we had this epic Joel, and now I like Jesse too, I was getting to like him, but they didn't use him enough, because what's his main purpose? You guessed it, or some of you did, I would imagine. Jesse is just the sperm donor. If you break down everything that happened, and I'm not even talking about the exposition like I talked about, because those little beats are things that a good writer can just polish around and recreate with different scenes, characters, or scenarios without adjusting other parts of the story. For example, the sperm donor aspect. If you change that, if you take Jesse out, you can't just simply put a random ass character in there, because now that changes so many different factors, where with Dina, who she was with, and then setting up a friendship with Ellie and yada, yada, yada. Now, obviously, you could just take Jesse out and simply put a new visual character in the place, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a story element that is broken if Jesse isn't in the game. Now, because of him being a sperm donor, his purpose is to simply give Dina a baby. That's right. If you break this character down, his sole purpose for the story is just to give Dina a baby. Now, why? Well, because Dina and Ellie are a couple, and two chicks can't make a kid, obviously, so we needed a bisexual character, meaning Dina, breaking up with her boyfriend close to around the time of the game, which makes sense to why she's just now pregnant, obviously. And then a lot of other arguments can be made with why not have them kind of conflicted, yada, yada, yada. Essentially, they wanted all three of them to be friends, but they also wanted to mirror Abby's storyline. So Abby has a friend named Mel, who's also pregnant, like Dina, and then Owen. But in Abby's story, Owen and Abby kind of have a romantic relationship. In Ellie's story, they mirror that three-way love triangle, but Ellie has a romantic relationship with Dina. So his purpose is simply to give Dina a baby, and this creates the love triangle mirror storyline, which creates the pregnant storyline. And again, this mirrors Mel's storyline, and the pregnant storyline is what keeps Dina from going on certain missions, and then it simply mirrors what's going on with Mel. Mel was killed, and then when Ellie said she's pregnant, and Abby said, good, that's in reference to Mel was pregnant and she still died. You know what I mean? Knife to the throat and yada, yada, yada. And that kind of broke the cycle of violence there. But Jesse's main purpose, outside of just simply giving Dina a baby, comes at the farm. Once we leave that moment in time, they do a skip of a few months or so, and everyone's kind of healed up and dealing with PTSD, and it creates the family for Dina and Ellie for the farm scenes. So Jesse's main purpose in this game was, that's it. Only to be a sperm donor, to give Dina a baby. And I don't mean to say that like a negative thing. I mean, we're just simply breaking down the facts. I feel like some people may take that as like, this is terrible because it's just this. I mean, you guys can make up your own conclusions and then discuss down below. But that is simply it. If you were going to the root of this character's purpose and being, it is simply to give Dina a child. And then later on, Dina and Ellie would have that family dynamic with a baby at the farm scene. Now, obviously, there's other ways to go about this. You didn't have to do it this way. You could have done a orphaned, baby. Maybe they were out on patrol, Dina and Ellie, and they found a mother who just got killed, or maybe she was just being killed and she happened to be running, fleeing with the baby. I'm not arguing that's better. I'm just saying there's multiple ways to do this, but this keeps it with them specifically, and it creates this bond as well, and the mirror as well with them. So that's it. Jesse is simply there to give Dina the kid, and that rolls out throughout the rest of the story, kind of like ripples in a water throughout the farm scene. And they build around it. They build the friendship with Ellie. They build the scenes around going on patrols, and then Joel hinting that Ellie might be interested in Jesse, and yada, yada, yada. All that stuff is kind of like adding on to the foundation, which is simply, bam, get her pregnant, bruh. All right, so there's not much more to go over than that, and I don't want to keep repeating the damn point, so we're going to shut this down, and maybe I'll pop it up, and if you guys are interested to go over or kind of break down characters and see what their actual purpose is in the game. I think the Wolves and Scars is simple as well, but it's pretty interesting, and I've seen a lot of people like, what's the purpose of the Wolves and Scars? And it's actually easy. Their purpose is pretty damn simple when you look at it the right way. But leave your thoughts and opinions down below. If you like this, I'll pop up another one and we'll see where we go from here. And if you're interested in certain creative practices to see how they utilize characters and what gives them these ideas to put characters in these certain situations, here you go. They needed this in order to do the farm scene to connect the storyline the way they want to do it. Thoughts and opinions below. I'm done talking. It's your turn.